My name is Bobby Dawson. I originally started here as a student, graduated, I guess about 5 years ago, something like that, in graphic design. I work as an illustrator, freelance graphic artist, and a children's book illustrator. In illustration class, when our final project was figure out what you want to do for final project, and I came up with the Night Before Christmas book. But I think it goes back to I just love books. I've always loved books. I think, the smell of the paper, the smell of the ink, to feel the book in your hands and that sort of thing. And when you go to a bookstore, you see the children's section and you see these kids sitting there reading the books and they're just so lost in their own world. And to be somebody that can illustrate that world for a kid is really cool. And I think working with The Night Before Christmas really kind of helped me figure this was an aspect or a direction that I really wanted to go into. It's been my favorite book ever since I can remember. I mean, and I guess a lot of kids are like this, every December 24th, you read it before you go to bed. And we had a final project due in illustration, and we could pick whatever we wanted to do. And one of them was we could illustrate a children's book. And of course, it was coming up on December. I thought, well, that would be a great Christmas gift for my mother, who loves the book too. So it just really stemmed from that. It's one of my favorite stories, and there's tons of versions of it out there. But it's something that's a challenge too, to get it to make it my own version and that sort of thing. And it's just a book that I've loved ever since I was a kid. This is the book, obviously. I can read the first couple pages. As we all know, it's here's the part there, and of course "'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimneys with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there. The children were all nestled and snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap." And of course, we know the story goes on, and they hear Santa Claus and they hear his reindeer coming into view. I think my advice would be is just to look at everything. Take it all in. I mean, everything, you can use everything. So just take in as much as you can. Go old school. Use a pencil and paper. Not everything has to be technical. You don't have to do everything on a computer. Don't lose what it's like to actually draw on paper and pencil. Keep as old school as you can. And I think the other thing I would tell kids nowadays is to be interactive as a human with another human. Emails are great, texts are great, but I've found with clients you can find so much more in talking to them. They might say they like something, but you can read their body language, or you can see an expression in their face saying, "I like it," but you're okay, you don't like it. So tell me what you don't like about it. The interactive with the human quality and one-on-one, and that I think for today's kids would be very important, to learn how to read people and to get away from emails and get away from texts and to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, can we meet? Work on Skype, let's do a Skype and talk to each other," and then just take everything in.